It was not a dream. I saw them. I felt them. I touched them. And they walked with me into the hills. From that day, I always give a second thought. If any situation forces me to walk at night, even in a very familiar place. Mzondiwa is a rural place in Zvishavane, Zimbabwe. I and my family were just a year old in the area. I would come back home every Friday for the weekend because I worked in the nearby town Zvishavane. We used to hear these stories, people talking about them, and even making jokes of them. I never allowed myself to believe such until I had a very personal encounter. Most of the times, I would be home by 7 p.m. But that night, at exactly 2 a.m., I stepped off a motor vehicle and walked home like I had done many times before. But that night, 3 people joined me. 2 men, 1 woman. By morning, I woke up not on my bed, not in my room, not at home. And this is exactly what happened. My name is Dapi. It was around 2 a.m. in the morning when I stepped off a motor vehicle in Muzondiwa Zvishavane. The headlights disappeared into the darkness. And just like that, I was alone. No streetlights, no movement, just the wind and silence. My house sits beyond the Maqoki River, on top of the hills. I've walked that route many times before, but that night, something followed me. 3 voices greeted me from behind. Makadiniko. In English, how are you? 2 men, 1 woman, clothed in white garments. They asked if we could walk together, and I said yes. I didn't know I wasn't walking with the living. At first, they looked very normal, calm, polite, soft-spoken. I even thought they were part of the white garment churches. Then one of the men began telling his story. He narrated of how he was a successful businessman, how he had big plans, he had big ambitions, how he wanted his family to have a decent life. Then he said something strange. My relatives bewitched me, and I died because of it. They were jealous of my success. He didn't laugh. None of them did laugh. And that is when I felt the first discomfort. I just questioned myself silently. What is this man saying? We reached the river. The water was shallow but wide. I stepped into it. It was cold. But when I looked back at them, they were not in the water. They were floating. Not stepping on stones, just moving across the surface. My skin tightened. Goosebumps rose on my arms. But I pretended I saw nothing. I just kept walking. As we moved into the hills, they were no longer fully touching the ground. Their movements were lighter and natural. I slowly took out my Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. My hands were shaking. I switched on the night mode and started recording. Through the screen, they looked darker than the darkness around them. And then I noticed something else. I couldn't see their feet. Their garments were covering everything below the knees. It was as if they were not meant to walk. One of the men suddenly stopped and said, pointing to a section of the hill,
"This is where they made at me. I was coming from the bar last year in September around midnight. And they followed me and they made at me with machetes."
Then my legs became weak. My breathing changed. Now I was getting into a reality that I didn't want to believe all along. I am walking with ghosts. I'd never thought of it as something that was real. I only heard it from people, speaking different stories and different encounters. But this day, this night, it was me. The woman never said anything from the time we met until this time. She looked at me and she noticed that I was becoming very weak. Then she said, with a gentle voice,
"You look tired. Let me carry you."
I don't know why I agreed, but she bent down and carried me on her back. It felt real. Her body had weight, warmth. I was so afraid. Then I lost control of my bladder and I peed everywhere. Just after a moment, one of the men said,
"Tuna now. Let me go home."
Then he just disappeared into the darkness. I couldn't even see where he went, how he just vanished. Then after a few meters, the other man said, "I'm stopping here. You two can continue." Tonan. Then he just disappeared. All this was happening in my eyes. And it was like a drama. But I think by this time I'd lost my consciousness. I couldn't reason. I couldn't figure out what was happening. I can just recall the events as they took place. He branched off. Now it was just the two of us. I and the lady, ghost. After walking deeper into the hills, she gently put me down. She looked at me differently. Not friendly, not neutral, but hungry. She said,
"I like you."
My heart started pounding. What does she mean? She likes me.
"Don't move."
I couldn't do anything. I couldn't move. My body felt very heavy, powerless. Then she climbed on top of me and acted in an intimate way. But of course, nothing was happening. Then she stopped, looked direct into my eyes. Her eyes were round and glowing like those of a cat in the night. She said, "This is what killed me. My husband caught me cheating and he hit me with an axe and I died instantly." Then she said something that I will never forget.
"Please, don't cheat on your wife. And if she cheats, don't kill her.
Then she stepped back, and I heard whispers of female voices echoing from afar. She vanished into the darkness. I couldn't see her anymore. Everything went black from that moment. I fell into a very deep sleep that I couldn't control. When my eyes opened, it was 11 a.m. Bright sunlight, birds chirping. But I wasn't home. I wasn't on my bed. I wasn't in my room. I was on top of a steep dome-shaped rock, a rock no one can easily climb. No path, no footprints, just me.
Then I checked my phone to see if the video that I'd taken the previous night was there.
Then I saw the video was there. But when I pressed play, it was only darkness and faint whispers. 3 voices laughing. Since that night, I never walk alone at night, because sometimes I still feel them walking beside me. The other day, I wanted to find out about the area, about the Maqoki, about the ghosts. Then I went back to where it all started.